Good morning, welcome. We have a different background today. I'm reminded that when we did the last remodeling, we also had a class. It was live on Facebook or YouTube, whatever it was. So this spot, very close here, was a different setup, but we're glad that we're upgrading again. Baruch Hashem. So the background noise is the workers behind us making the show nicer, better. So if you're watching this on YouTube or wherever it may be, come join us in person whenever you can. We're discussing in the Maimer the idea of iskafia, that when a person subdues the other side, doesn't do what the Yetzer Hara wants, and does what he's supposed to, the act of bending the sitra achara, which is a general term for klipa, tuma, impurity, evil, the other side, because everything in this world is created in a counterbalance. So anything you have in kedusha, anything you have in holiness, you have in impurity, and so, almost anything, and therefore you're constantly dealing with this side versus that side. When you bend the other side, let's call it desire, and you don't do it, you cause that the Shechina should extend all over. That's the idea of a Mishkan. You're making a dwelling place for Hashem in this world through your actions or inactions in areas that shouldn't be done. Behine. So the second paragraph of this Maimer, Eis Beis, the Alter Rebbe asks the following question. We need to understand fundamentally what's really the reason that somehow through iskafia, through doing that, the Shechina comes down. Why is iskafia that powerful? Since when do we give such credence to klipa? So there's this desire to eat something which is unkosher. That desire is obviously a bad thing, and kosher is impure. Why does it have such an ability that by refraining from it, somehow the Shechina comes down? Like, you're giving it so much significance and so much power. Why is that the case? Why is it that the istalek ikara, the Kodesh Brichu, the glory of Hashem, goes up specifically by bending sitra achara? We know that sitra achara, this other side, is not tefes makom at all, which means it's insignificant, it's irrelevant, it's really nothing. Okay? It's the other side, it's not kedusha, it's not holy. Seemingly from this process, that by bending it, you cause the Shechina to come, means that it's very powerful. Since when is it powerful? We know that it's worthless. It's not teifus makom, which is a term in Kabbalah. It doesn't take up any space. It's irrelevant in the Seder of Ishtalshus, other side. It doesn't stop us in any way. How come you say that by bending it, you bring the Shechina? Basically, you can just grab it with your hands. It's nothing. We'll understand this by first introducing what's the root of a mitzvah's aseh and the root of a mitzvah's lois aseh. So positive do's, which we have 248 mitzvahs in the Torah. That's called mitzvahs aseh, things that you have to do. And then there's lois aseh, don't do, refrain from. There's 365. What's the root in Shamayim, in heavenly places? What are the root of each of these things? Now, interestingly, the mitzvahs that we have today, 613, these days we can't even fulfill half, because we don't have a Beis HaMikdash, we don't have koyanim. I mean, we have koyanim, we don't have the service of the koyanim in the Beis HaMikdash, we don't have kings, we don't have the ability to have tahara, korbanos, agricultural laws. Many of them are only rabbinic. Many different things that are not, well, truth is in Eretz Yisrael, it's biblical, but there are a lot of things that we can't fulfill today because we don't have a Beis HaMikdash, so it's not even half. It's still a lot, but it's not even half. So back to the question, what's the source, Kabbalistically, or in the Shemes of Hashem, the names of Hashem, what are the sources of mitzvahs aseh and mitzvahs leis aseh? It's known what it's called, what it's mentioned in Tikkunei Zohar, which is part of the Zohar. Ba'akidama, an introduction. Daf Dalid Seif Amud Beis. If you want to look it up, it's page 4, the end of the second side. V'daf Hey Amud Aleph, and on the 5th page, on the first side. Al pasuk Zeh Shmi Lo Elam V'Zeh Zichri. This is my name forever. This is my remembrance. Okay, there's a pasuk that says Zeh Shmi Lo Elam V'Zeh Zichri L'der V'der. Regarding that verse, the Likutei Torah explains the following: Shmi im Yudke Shasa Leisase. My name, Shin Mem Yud, with Yudke. So Shin Mem Yud is 341, right? My name, the word my name, Shin Mem Yud is 341. Sorry, 350. Shin is 300, Mem is 40, Yud is 10, 350. And Yudke is, Yud and Hey is 15. Is Gematria 365. Okay? The word Shmi and the first half of Yudke Vavke spells 365, which tells us that the 365 prohibitions, the Leisa say the don'ts or do nots, they are connected to Yudke, the first half of Hashem's name. Shasa Leisa say. Vavke im Zichri, the second word, Zeshmi Le'elam is a Zichri, my remembrance. If you add that with the second half of Hashem's name, Vavke is 248. It's just Asa. By the way, in today's Rambam, he talks about Birchas Koyanim. And he talks about the fact that it used to be that in times of the Beis HaMikdash, Koyanim would say the bracha with Hashem's name, like Yud Kei Vav Kei, they would actually say it out. And this name of Hashem was taught to students or to your sons in only once in 7 years you would teach it, and that was a respect to the name. It wasn't just like mention, oh, what's the name? You just say it out like as if it's slang. And only to those that are appropriate and know how to respect it and not profane it and so on and so forth. But anyway, the second half of Yud Kei Vav Kei, together with the word Zichri, is the gematria, the numerical equivalent of 248. So you see that the positive mitzvahs, which we have 248 of them, are rooted in the second half of Hashem's name, Yud Kei Vav Kei. Okay? I'm sorry, the first half. No, second half. Thank you. So Vav Kei is, Vav and Hey is 11. With Zichri is the second half. Now, Vina Yud Kei L'maylam B'chinas Vav Kei, Yud Kei Shem Efnei Atzmai, Gam Pirush Yesh Mei Rabba, Yesh Varshem Shem Yud Kei Rabba. Now, which half is greater, the Yud Kei or the Vav Kei? The Yud Kei, the first half of Shem Havai, is greater. Why? Because if you take just that half, Yud and Hey, which I don't want to say it out, but it's Ka, Yud, that itself is the name of Hashem. If you say Va, it's not a name of Hashem. But if you say Yud, Hey, it is a name of Hashem. So the first half, that on its own is one of Hashem's names. V'shekasov be Tach, Reish Simen Nun Vav, Betur Erechaim. In the Tur Erechaim it says, in Simen Reish Simen Nun Vav, before the Shulchan Aruch, you have something that's called the Tur. The way it works was, after the Rambam, Tur is halachis, but let's call it one stage before Shulchan Aruch. In the section of Erechaim, he says over there, regarding this idea that Omen Yehei Shmei Rabba, the Yehei Shmei Rabba, the Yud Kei, is really one of the names of Hashem. There's those that say Ka Shmei Rabba. Yud Kei is Shmei Rabba. Point is that the first half of Yud Kei Vav Kei is the greater level, and that is a name of Hashem on its own, and that's where the don'ts are rooted in.
Why is that greater?
Holy, it's the name of Hashem. It's holier.
The second half also has the name of Hashem. So why is the first, the negatives and the, why?
On its own, it's not the name of Hashem.
Ka, you said is.
Wait, that's the first half.
Yeah. And the second half, the Vav K is not.
It's when it's together, it's the name of Hashem. You could say Va all day, it's not.
Yeah.
This Vav goes down to us, and you doesn't. It stays there up.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, well, it's just
makes sense.
Just a guess.
It makes sense. Yud Kei, by Niglois, Vav Kei Niglois. By the way, it's what he says here. It says Hanistodes Lashem Alekenu Vihaniglois. The hidden ones, there's a pasuk that says the hidden ones are to Hashem, and the revealed ones are to us and to our children. Okay, it's a reference. Fine. Certain things you don't understand, right? The hidden ones are to Hashem, the hidden stuff are to God, and the revealed are to us. If you look at the revealed, viha niglois, and the revealed is vav k. That second half is what gets revealed. The yud k is what doesn't get revealed. What we just said. V'chein shmi l'mayla v'chein zichri. Because the Gemara said, basically, if you analyze this whole thing based on the names of Hashem in the first half versus the second half and the gematrias and so on, you'll see clearly that if you compare positive mitzvahs versus negative mitzvahs are greater, which is a very surprising concept. You're basically telling me, don't kill, the act of not doing is spiritually more powerful and holier and greater than the act of doing. Okay, if two people, you put on tefillin, you did a mitzvah. Someone else did not eat the cheeseburger. That act is more powerful Kabbalistically and energy-wise and revelation-wise of godliness than they're not eating the cheese, than they're putting on the tefillin. Why? You would think it's the other way around. What's better, when I do something for you, or when I refrain from not doing something?
Refrain from doing.
Refrain from doing, yes. But by not doing, yeah. So when I do it or when I don't do it. If so, then the leisas are greater than mitzvahs aseh. Therefore, when you do a mitzvahs aseh, if someone transgressed the mitzvahs aseh, he forgot to put on tefillin, God forbid, missed a day. So what happens? You do tshuva, don't move until they forgive you. You're fine. Basically, if you do proper tshuva, by the time you finish, you move from there, you've been forgiven. Okay? Whatever had to happen, you're missing a gap, that gap was filled in, you took care of it. But if someone did a leisa, say he transgressed a negative, and he did tshuva, he's not forgiven right away. You have to wait till Yom Kippur. So it says tshuva toilet. What tshuva does, it hangs up this transgression. So now it's like in a holding pattern. And then when Yom Kippur comes, he gets forgiven. And there's certain levels of Averis that Rambam talks about. Certain ones get forgiven just in Kippur past. Certain ones, there's other stages that have to happen. But the point is, and everything should be forgiven right away. But the point is that if you compare what's the process of tshuva, meaning you could see what happens if you mess up, mitzvahs aseh is easier to fix. Why? Because again, it's a lower level. And leis aseh is much harder to fix because it's more powerful and it comes from the first half of Hashem's name. Why is that? If you think it's much more valuable when you do a positive versus when you refrain from a negative. Okay, you didn't do it. So really, we're going to do it. Like it's good you didn't do it. Okay. It's a wondrous thing. Let's analyze. What happens when you do a positive mitzvah? You're bringing a revelation of godliness into this world. He gave tzedakah, he brought godliness through this act, he revealed that Hashem exists. You put on tefillin, you reveal that Hashem exists. That's it's very strong. But ubaleisase, by negative mitzvahs, like a shumaisa, there is no action by a leisase. I sat here, I could have killed, and I didn't. So I just, by not doing, you didn't reveal anything, you just held yourself back, you controlled yourself. What did you accomplish? The Rebbe says it's a very hard thing it's a wonder, like really? Not doing is greater than doing? It's easy. It's harder to fix it when you mess up. It accomplishes more. It's the higher level of Hashem's name. How does any of that make sense? Okay, so the answer is as follows. The idea is the Adrabah, on the contrary, this is the very reason why it's greater. Because the source of the leisase is from a very high place. It's from the first half of Hashem's name. Therefore, they have no kelim down here. It's from such a high place. You want to manifest. You want to reach or connect with a level which is extremely high. It's so high. There's nothing you could do to bring down the leisase energy. When it's a lower level mitzvahs asay, you want to have this gilui, give someone tzedakah, or put on tefillin, or make this bracha, do this mitzvah, put on tzitzis. It's a lower level. You could accomplish something. I did this. I brought it because it's attainable. There's other levels that's much higher. The only way you could achieve that is by not doing. It's beyond you. You can't do anything to get it. You could not do. Just sit and do nothing. Don't mess this up. You'll get it. So because it's greater, that's why you can't accomplish it through doing anything. The best you can do is not do and receive it.
So is it already here, or how are you bringing it down? It can't be already here. It is, but how are we bringing that down? Or revealing it?
You are bringing it down.
Yeah.
But there's nothing you could do to bring it down. By not doing it causes it to happen. I'll explain more.
Okay.
But there's a term, be'eretz lo yizruah, in a land which is not planted. The way that you plant this is by not. Well, there's certain things, by not doing them, you plant it. Someone was chazering this mimer yesterday. Even Meir Hechter, my yeshiva, we were discussing it.
Yeah.
One of them shared from Yossi Jacobson
Wow.
that he said in a relationship, I think it's a very good example, in a relationship, you have things that you do for the partner and things that you don't do because they don't want it. What's greater in the relationship? That I gave you a gift, or that I didn't do something that you wanted done, that you didn't want to happen?
Yeah.
Okay? So I could buy you a gift, which is a beautiful thing, and it's an expression of my feeling towards you, and relationship, and I care, and right, it's very nice. Or I could not do something that you don't want to be done, even though I want to do it. What do you say? What's stronger? So in a relationship, the not doing is more powerful. Why? You're not the hero. You don't have the thank you for it, so to speak. You're not expressing I want, I feel. You don't want it, I'm not going to do it. It's about you. It's not about me. There's something, I think it's a very good example. There's something that is expressed by refraining that's deeper than, you know how great I am. Here's a gift. We have a relationship. I. Not doing is bittul. Well, for the relationship or for you, I'm holding back. It's a much deeper level. And in a sense, I have two-way relationship with Hashem. Hashem, you know what? I'll show up. No problem, I'll do it. I love you, I'm going to do it. I'm going to daven, I'm going to learn. Now, don't do this, don't do that. 365 items you can't do, but I want to. And you don't do that, that's a much, much deeper thing. That's why it pulls much stronger.
Okay.
That's
So,
what my problem.
so my question is this. You're saying I want to give you. What if your wife wants flowers and you don't want to? Because I mean, it's stupid. It's waiting 3 days, you're going to be dead. So you don't want to do it, but she wants you to. So you're doing what she wants, not what you want. Why isn't that greater than not doing what she doesn't want?
It's very great. We're not saying it's not great. It's huge.
But it's not you anymore. It's what she wants. The other
But
person.
it's the second half. No, it's also you. It's the second half of Hashem's name. It's there. It's not
Yeah,
nothing.
yeah.
But if you compare the two, our question is not why do mitzvahs say not matter? They matter very
sure,
much.
sure.
They bring a gili of godliness into this world. We're trying to understand why not doing causes the Shekhinah to come.
Right.
Like, you did a skafia, you wanted to do something, but it's prohibited, so you didn't do it, and somehow that brings Shekhinah. Really? Like, why? Because it's a much deeper level. The reason why it's much deeper is because refraining in a relationship, it's a much deeper place.
Form of self-sacrifice.
Like what?
More than doing.
Yeah. Form of self-sacrifice. You
Yeah, but you're shifting from the I to the other person. You said it's the I want to give you, but if you don't want to give, she makes you do it, or because of her.
You're saying there's still the component because you really don't want to. First of all, maybe you could say when you really don't want to, you're doing a skafia because you're forcing yourself.
Yeah, because she wants, not I want.
Yeah, I think it exists there as well. But if you compare it generally,
Yeah,
do versus
I
don't,
gotcha, yeah.
that has that component very, very strong. There's a bittul associated with it, and when you could also have a bittul by doing, but I love, I'm giving, I is not bittul. It doesn't mean it's nothing,
You're right, it's
right?
I.
You have to show up. But when you put yourself in the background and you're less the center here, you're actually not doing because it's a higher, bittul is always higher. Having humility or putting yourself aside for the other person is greater. And you're not necessarily lauded for it. What did you do? You didn't kill. Well, of course you didn't kill. I don't want you to kill. Why should you kill? You don't get a medal for not doing. If you save someone's life, yeah, that's a medal, right? You went and you saved someone, right? You didn't eat that. Versus you ate matzah. Okay, matzah is a big deal. It's a huge mitzvah. It brings down tremendous stuff. You can't. If you miss it, not so shalom, right? But not eating chametz, you didn't do anything. You just didn't do. No, the not doing means that I don't matter. I'm not a player. I don't have the medal. I'm not the hero. I am because I didn't do it and I wanted to. But it has a much, much stronger level. And the reason is because it comes from a higher place.
So it sounds to me what we're talking about, by not doing, you're actually bringing down Sove, because it's not containable. You're doing something that's so powerful. So the other one would be...
Vav K would be coming down.
Yeah,
with
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah. I agree. Okay.
But it's so delicious.
Chametz?
Yes.
You can have it. It's not on Pesach.